Good evening, YouTubers. We have ROSA Desktop Fresh GNOME R7, fresh off the Distro Watch website, downloaded via torrent. I'm about to do the install. I've already done the install on the iron, but I want to show you the install, and then I'm going to show you how it runs on the iron. So let's have a look. We're going to install it. So, yep, we've got the nice little splash screen with the little loading, progress bar going on there. I suspect that install, because it's on a solid-state drive, could be a touch quicker than what it was on the mechanical drive. Let's go next. It has this license agreement. I suggest you take a read through it. It does mention some of the GPL components and other bits and bobs which can be a little bit ugly for people, so we'll just accept that for the purposes of this review. Go OK. We're going to accept the US keyboard. Notice that it's quite an attractive installer. Let's go to Australia, where we live in the Perth. Great. Nice sunny place, Perth. The weather is starting to cool down a little bit. We had a bit of warmer weather today, but overall starting to cool down as we head into March. If you don't know what season it is here, we're heading into autumn, or otherwise in other places called fall. So yeah, it tells us what we're going to use here. We've got some free space that we're going to use. So let's go next. This is quite quick actually. I'm comparing it to the mechanical drive from what I installed earlier, and of course I use the mechanical drive, a little bit more durable for this sort of heavy duty install again of these distros. So it says here that global distro of European origin, but we'll take a look later, or we'll try to look at the website later. It's indeed a Russian distribution from what I gather. So let's take a look here. This shouldn't take too long, just to give you a bit of a feel for how long it'll take to install. I believe it's it was forked from Mandrake, or otherwise known as Mandriva, GNU+Linux. I think Mandriva these days is defunct, and the community version that's replaced it is Magia. So you might want to take a look at that as well. This distribution comes in a KDE variety, which similarly looks attractive. We'll see if there's time this week to do a review of the KDE version. No promises there, however, because I do have some coursework that I need to attend to on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I might be a little bit quiet this week. We'll see. So forewarned is forearmed. That install is going nice and steadily towards completion. So as I said before, it's based on GNOME. It is a attractive distribution. Seems to be targeted towards both desktop and enterprise server use of. That's kind of interesting that it's targeting that. As I said, we'll attempt to have a look at the website, but there were some issues I had today looking at that. Hopefully the website's up, but I will show you what the website came up with today. I took some screenshots just to show you what was going on there. So we're coming to the completion of the installer. Not too far away. I have no doubt it's probably going to ask me to install the bootloader, or it might even just go ahead and do it when I install on the iron. I do have an EFI partition, an ESP, what they call an ESP, on one of my drives. It detected that successfully, wished to install there. I allowed it to install there, and it worked fine. Installed grub there. So let's have a look and see what happens now. It's going to install it to the QEMU hard disk. Yep, okay, fine. So it's just going to install grub there. The The init RAM disk is being prepared. Very useful. You need that for your drivers if you don't have them built in. Specifically, actually, the EXT, the extended file system drivers. If you don't have those built into the kernel, I do personally when I build kernels, but for those of you who don't, it can be a bit of an issue because it won't boot without them. So you'll need to redress that if you don't do that. I'm just going to put my makeshift password in here, Mr. Nick's user. Yep, just put that makeshift password there. As I say to you guys, you should have a do not use your real password in general. I don't need Samba, so I'm going to drop that. Definitely don't need that. And I'm going to leave it there. Next time you see, in just a second, we're going to be actually in the real version. So welcome back to ROSA. So I shut down that virtual machine before where we did the install, and we're now on the iron, on the seemingly what is the GNOME 3 desktop, or otherwise GNOME shell. We can see here that on the left we've got Firefox, Evolution, Empathy, Shotwell, LibreOffice Writer, Files, install and remove software, which interestingly enough I struggled with finding the update manager, so I used URPMI of Mandriva fame. We also have a terminal which I'm running in the background, so that's why you can see this dot here. It tells you that it's running in the background. So we have this attractive wallpaper. Let's see what wallpapers we have. We can change the lock screen or the background. Now just invite you to take a look at that. I don't actually see this line art one in here. Maybe I'm being blind, but I don't see it in there. Let's have a look at pictures, colours. Fine, we could put a colour in there as well, but we won't do that now. We'll leave that alone. You can see it's got this nice theme going on there, this custom theme with colorization going on here. You'll see more of that as we open other applications. We'll just close that now. We have the time here. We can see the calendar over here, and I believe this can hook into Evolution to give us some notifications. To the right here we have weather, and we can see here that in sunny Perth, well, it's actually night time, so it's not going to be too sunny, and our pressure is 101.5 hectopascals. So I guess that is about 1 atmosphere, as it should be. Anyway, moving right along. Apparently it feels like 21 degrees. I love that when it says, 21 degrees and it feels like 21 degrees. That's awesome. So that's that for that. Oh, just one thing, they do get it from the Norwegian Meteorological Institute, and you can change your weather settings there. To the right here we have our network settings, which we can go and have a fish around for. We can also do things like log out with the user, and we have some settings here that we can go to here as well. You can search for in the settings. So let's pull up Firefox and take a quick look what version, and this is exactly what I was talking about before. The website which hosts ROSA. Now I told you before I downloaded it via torrent, so I wouldn't have known this beforehand. I've been having a few issues getting to their website today. Let's have a look at ROSA Linux in here, see if it might just be my own doing. And they don't seem to mind us going in from Google, so I don't know what's going on there. There is something fishy going on there. As you can see, ROSA Russian, presumably for their Russian customers. They seem to be, you see this office and sales and all this sort of promotional stuff. It says to me that they're really focusing on the enterprise, but also a desktop and server set of use cases. So yeah, let's have a look at that Firefox version. What do we got here about Firefox? And we're using a reasonably current, I think, if not the most current version of Firefox. Actually, I should probably go and look at that to verify Firefox. What's the current let's have a look what the current version is, and it's the current stable version, which is wonderful. And you can see here this nice theming going on for minimize, seemingly maximize, and shut the window. We'll just go and close that now. Evolution, I'll pull up Evolution. I do have an account connected to it. It's just loading now, and you can see the sorts of things that you might, some of you might use Thunderbird. I tend to use Thunderbird, but yeah, you can just see the mailing lists and things like that I've been connected to. I'm not going to go into my contacts or anything like that. There's probably none there for this particular account anyway. This is my Linuxy account, anything to do with GNU+Linux free and open source stuff, then yes, I use this. So we've got empathy, and yeah, fine, we will provide the password. I'm not getting it to remember the password. I just simply don't really trust these things unless I'm using a keyring or something like that, I guess. I probably would be using the GNOME keyring in this case, but I still don't want to provide my password at this point. So you can see there I've added myself, my other account, and yeah, things are working pretty peachy. I might just send myself a message through Hangouts on my Android phone. Let's just see that work nicely here. Hello. And we see that comes in very nicely in that nice notification here, and we can just say hello there, and you might even hear it come through the background noise there. So yeah, it's got a nice notification system going on there. When you close that, this bar comes straight out again. Shot well, that's fine. Let's 2 photos, and that will be one of them, as I said, of the website having technical difficulties, which is kind of strange. But I guess it was to the Russian, and it was to the wiki. So moving on, let's have a look at LibreOffice and see what version. The current versions are sitting at about version 5. That's some nice theming going on there, very reminiscent of the theming that you'll see on Linux Mint for this. Some strange stuff going on here on the top menu here. I don't know why that is the case. It could be using the GTK3 stuff. It probably is. About LibreOffice, no, maybe it's not, because it's using version 4.4.7.2. I'm not sure that GTK was available there. So it's a bit of an older version of LibreOffice, since we're sitting at version 5 point something. I'm not going to go look it up and bore you with that. You can do the searching on there. Files, that will be our Nautilus. So we'll have a look at that, about that, and that will be files. Yep, fine, from 3.16.3. Again, look at this nice theming that they have here. Very, very attractive. So I'm actually, for interest's sake, and I might review this or show you sometime, there is a static version of FFmpeg I'm currently recording using that. I'll explain that in another video. It's kind of about the compiling thing. So we have the software tool here. So I'm just going to put my password in there again. And it's just looking for some updates. It did provide some updates as a notification here, and I clicked on it and it didn't do anything, so I had to use URPMI. I doubt there are going to be any today, but yes, we could install an application, I suppose. Why don't we just, for argument's sake, deluge. Let's apply that. Oh well, I thought I had selected it. Apply? No, I haven't selected it. Maybe it's already installed. I don't know. Apply? Okay. Well, what about MPV? We don't have MPV on here. And MPV is not available at all. Maybe I should go fishing around for some app. Just fine. Maybe Deluge is already on here. Well, that's where it is. Deluge is already there. So let's go yes. Let's see how long that takes. I found the repositories actually to be quite quick. So it could be going off a local mirror or something, I'm not sure. But just let that be. And hopefully that finishes in a tick. This will give you a good feel anyway for how long it takes to install an application. No? please wait. How about we move on for a bit? Okay, so yep, that was the, oh, it's already done. Great. I don't know why it needs to do that at the end after I've done it, but fine. That's AFCE, and then we can draw some flowcharts. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that is pretty cool. You know what? I'm going to write that down, because I do write programs from time to time, and that could be very, very useful for me. I suggest you note it down too. A algorithm. Sounds like an ASMR video with my tapping, doesn't it? It's not meant to be. Maybe I should do ASMR. Those guys get great numbers of views, eh? You should see some of the ones I'm subscribed to anyway. Well, I think I've subscribed to at least one. Anyway, moving on. This is not an ASMR video, so let's go. So here you can either go up here and get to your applications, or you can indeed press on that and we get our applications here. So we've got our frequent ones. How about we take a look at all of them? So we've got Flash Player installed, so we better make sure that that's actually working in our add-ons, plugins. See how that's nice? It comes out like that if I want it. Name shell integration, yeah, Shockwave Flash. It's always activate. I'd recommend you change that to ask to activate. Okay, so let's go back to all of those applications. We just installed that guy. That's going to be an archive manager. An archive manager is something that you use for compressed archives, Audacious. So let's have a look. You know, excuse my ignorance, but I should presume this is a like some sort of music playing program. I have heard of it before, but I don't use these things, you see. I tend to use the command line to play my music. How sad. Audacity. Okay, fine. And I guess this is to generate music, to edit or generate music. Fine. Books. And I suppose that's if you got your EPUBs or your, what are the other ones? Deja Vu, I think another one is. There's another format called Deja Vu books. Zero for your CD writing pleasure or DVD writing pleasure. Nothing to say about Blu-rays there. I think we've moved on to DVDs and Blu-rays, not so much CDs these days, so that's getting a little bit long in the tooth. I'll give that a tick to show up. Yep, got the calculator. Hey, how many times have I done this? Looked at the about for calculator. Yep, but still using 3.16. I would have thought that there'd be a 3.818 version, but hey, who's to keep up with these things? Again, I'm pretty sad I use BC as my calculator sometimes. The character map, I'm not going to go into that, and I do not have a webcam, so we will not be looking at G's. I presume this is for managing our clipboard. No? What's that? It looks like it, yeah, it appends itself into, what's that? Okay. Actually, how about we look at about to find out what this is about. Yeah, it's a clipboard manager. Great. Pretty self-explanatory. Clocks, we get the world time, so you can add a new one. Let's just do the typical one that people like to do. Isn't it New York, Paris, or London usually? Can we add it? Okay. Fine. I pressed the enter key. That worked. So we can find that it's apparently 7:41 in the morning. Good morning, USA at this time, I guess. Let's move on. I've got the clocks. We've got configure graphics. It's using... I can choose my driver. We're going to stick with the free one. It works fine. You can also drop back to the Visa if you've got dramas with the Radeon, or if you really need to, you can go to FGLRX. Fantastic. Okay. Now, you got your contacts. integrates nicely apparently with Google. That's great. So you'll be able to manage all your contacts there. Let's go back to our friends here. I'm not going to go into dconf editor. If you want to learn more about editing the how the GNOME shell behaves, or GNOME itself, you can take a look at that. Deluge is your torrent manager. It's built on Python and GTK bindings to Python. So yeah, you can take a look at that sometime. I use rTorrent. Again, that's a command line application for torrents. If I'm downloading free and open source software, that's a very good tool. You save the servers that these the developers have limited resources. You save a lot for them. So rec desktop, and we can find things there. Great, we can find a document there. We should do desktop search. Disks. Yep, we can have a look at our disks. Yep, fine. Everything seems hunky-dory there. I think this has got... See this? This is the stuff from Smart, I believe. You can actually see how your disk is going. Now that's the 200. That drive there is another mechanical drive. I don't use it very often, but it's behaving nicely. Just got 3 bad sectors. Yeah, that's okay. They usually have some spare. So disk usage analyzer. You can see how things are progressing with our drives as we use more and more of them up. It seems that every year we've got more and more storage, but we keep on using more and more. Documents. I find it funny actually now that we speak of it. You know those people who say, well, I've got a collection of 10,000 movies or something like that. You think about it. Humans got what? From the time they're 18 or so, an effective lifespan of something like 25,000 days or something like that. I mean, really, are you going to have the time to look at a video every single day or something like that? You know. Anyway, so we can look at documents. We'll just have some documents if we worked on them. We don't have any there at the moment. Document viewer, that's going to be the events. So you can take a look at that, and I don't have any spare PDFs to look at the moment, but that's how you would do that there. How do I get rid of this? It's kind of distracting, isn't it? We don't need about that as well. I actually thought that was quite cool, the ability to change between your drivers quite quickly. Easy tag. What's that all about? No idea. I presume it's about changing file metadata. So that is pretty cool. Haven't had to use that yet, but that could be pretty handy if you're looking at for images and things like that. Empathy, we looked at that before. Evolution, we looked at that. FB Reader. Okay, it's an ebook reader. So if we have some ebooks, what does it accept? Okay, no PDF there though. I guess PDF is not really an ebook format. Look at the EPUB. It doesn't have the Deja Vu one. Maybe I'm being a bit silly there though. Anyway, that's pretty cool. We've got a reader. Can we toggle full screen? That's nice. That's great. I like it. Fantastic. Looked at that before. Looked at that. Files I'm happy with. Font config. No. gedit. You've seen gedit before. You do any application development or something like that, you might use gedit. I prefer to use Vim. If anyone knows whether you can get Vim keyboard bindings for gedit, please let me know. So what else have we got? Gparted, let's not bother. Image viewer, hey, that's probably just gonna, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you could probably just use Shotwell for the image viewing, so no, not for me, not this time. What else have we got? Yeah, we've had a look at that. Calc, all the LibreOffice stuff, not going to go through it. You guys take it in your spare time to take a look at LibreOffice. I suggest you do. If you're using something else like GNU+, or AbiWord or one of those guys, take a look at LibreOffice. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, unless of course you are limited on resources. Then stick to your AbiWord or GNU+. Music. I wonder if this is going to be Rhythmbox. It's nice that they're naming it music. Music. Oh. GNOME Music. That's very interesting. It does look pretty attractive though, I've got to say. I'm tempted to use GNOME again, just because of how attractive it is. Notes. You want to write yourself a note. I guess you can just put it there. Yep. What else have we got? Yeah. OpenShot. Is it like a video editor? It looks like it is. Will not be using that today, although I should think about it, because I do use, I actually use FFmpeg directly to edit my videos. I know that sounds funny, but that's just the way I like to do things, and I like to learn the commands and all that sort of stuff. Okay, and as I say, my editing requirements are pretty limited. Passwords, I guess we can add a keyring, you know, unlock the keyring when you log in. So there you go, something to learn about there. The keyrings, photos, not going to go to Polari. What's that? Is it like an IRC client or something? Ah, join a room. Have a connection. Well, I guess freenode.org. Let's go Nix user 1980 and go save. It's going to let me go. Maybe. Yes, no, up, down, forward, back. Join a room. Room name. Okay. We'll join one that you should take a look at sometime. Anyone there? I don't know. Let's not bore ourselves or concern ourselves too much with that. Actually, let's close it. Again, I use things like XChat, or in fact I use IRSSI command line tools. I try to go to command line tools. I recommend you do too. Basstats, not going to do that. Print settings, again, I recommend you use cups in the web browser. All you have to do is type localhost :631 in the web browser URL input, and you're fine. Pulse audio preferences, I don't know too much about this, but there is something I do know something about, and that is the pulse audio stuff here. I'm not going to go into that. I've had issues when I've been doing a recording and I go into it, but you can, that's the pulse audio volume control mechanism there. Remote desktop, presuming RDP. ROSA freeze, what's that? Which requires, well, no, let's not bother with that. I suggest you look at that yourself. I'm doing a recording here, I don't want to do anything that I don't understand. ROSA image writer, I presume that's so you can write to a USB. Again, you can use DD. I'm led to believe that newer versions of DD actually include status output, but if you're looking for status output from DD, you can send a kill all signal. The signal is USR1 if you want to find out where it's at. Media player, that's looking like a pretty professional looking media player there. Yeah. That's a little unusual. Okay, I think we're getting close to the end on this one. The Orca screen reader, not going to do that. Take a screenshot. You can do that also with the print screen if you want to do that. That's what I did before. Not going to configure any settings there. Simple scan. In other words, you can use Xsane if you want to, or simple scan, your choice. Sound recorder, record your voice. System log. Let's have a look at that, and we can look at our system logs for this system. And apparently we can't. Errors, look at some errors. Or we can even look at the, well, that's taken the magic away, hasn't it? We can look at xorg log, fine. And I think we're getting pretty close to the end here. System monitor, you guys are used to that. Look at that nice theming though, look at that. Very nice. And I think we're just about there. Terminal, and you got the tweak tool. Obviously, you can make all the changes you want to the themes and all that sort of stuff. That's a good look. The shell theme, yeah, Corora. Oh, default. Ah, I see. That looks kind of still okay-ish. Yeah, fine. I'll just bring it back to the default. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, we can disable animations. Oh, wow. That is kind of cool if you really needed to. But no, we don't need to disable that. So yeah, guys, I'd like to hear what you think in the comments below, but I think this is a damn fine looking distribution. Seems to have the stuff there. There are a few little rough edges here and there, like the software updates wasn't really particularly hitting out at me, but hey, I knew about URPMI, and a bit of a sifting around would help you find that anyway, so no big deal. No, I think this is worth a goer. If I were to rate this, I'd probably give that an 8.5 out of 10. Pretty good. I didn't like that the website doesn't come up by default. Maybe they need to choose a better pointer to their website rather than the wiki or something, or they've got to fix their wiki up. But other than that, no, I think it's great. So if you like this video, please like, and if you'd like to see more of this sort of content, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Good night, guys.